So, are you for 5G or are you against 5G? Well, as with anything, I believe there are good possibilities, okay? But it depends on who's in charge of it. I elect someone like me to be in charge of it because only the grassroots knows what's best for the grassroots. I identify as the grassroots. Self-driving cars could be good, but the current 5G that would use hosts the self-driving cars is more prioritized and designed for people like us to get vaccines and get ID chipped so that we can be agents of getting information for this grid. So through us, right? But it is doing this against our will and against our knowledge, okay? And the way they currently gather information about us through the smart grids are done the same way. So since we have smart grids, we know that they've already built their smart grid, and now they see this as us getting vaccine and chipped as a way to expand this system that they already created. But what really needs to happen is that we need to build our own, because at heart of us building our own is going to be in mind and the intention of us being at our highest possibilities, and not on the unaware where the people who see us as our controllers is going to enrich to get themselves, okay? So we need to be looking, okay, that's why we need to create our own. The grid we had before, we had a smart grid now, it couldn't actually handle the extra electricity generated by people's smart solar panels. And but people wanted solar panels before the grid could handle it. So the climate change agenda influenced people to create demand so others could create the supply. Obviously, good intentions by people, but nefarious agents of control created the system we are born into and we now take for granted. We take for granted what we have now. You understand when you visit poorer countries that we do have an amazing infrastructure. We have a great infrastructure, but it's due to older families like the Rockefellers that weren't damaged by the world wars. They wrote the history books, and many people have no sense of this incomplete history, a double whammy, that's been presented to us and was designed to control us by not allowing us to be aware of our creator of the system and their intentions that we live in, let alone our creator of the heavens. And since it was already built for us, we had no reason to do the hard work and sacrifice required to get to at the level we have today. Okay, there's a lot great about our system, but our raising, of collective vibration and evolution that's happening now, it wants us to go even higher than what we are now. And like any other life form that wants to grow and evolve, we are getting beyond control, and they want to keep it or get rid of us, and they feel entitled. People look for the easy way, and unless we are forced to do things through threat of violence, and if we don't do them, and if we don't put necessary pressure on ourselves to do what we should do to maximize our potential, we need someone to push us. And even people turn to kink femdom mistresses for this. But yet they do this. Why, right? Even those people that do push themselves, it usually is because they suffered some hardship, because humans adapt to what trauma they suffer, and our ability to adapt must be pushed. But if we don't get pushed ourselves, we never do this. Most people they call sheep are just looking to fit in, obey, conform. They don't want to be the odd person out. This is true of Japan. However, although there may be a threat of violence if you don't conform, as there is everywhere that human beings are in every other country, including yours, but there is a culture of cooperation, and it does provide benefits to motivate you to define yourself by your group and not by yourself, but you have motivation to excel, okay? And individually, right, like America, people are more self-defined, and it could provide motivation to approve yourself in the eyes of other people's opinions, or allow you to shun the opinions of others other than your own, which could work for or against you, again, depending on whose perspective. But I say that regardless or not, the earth is raising vibrations of collective consciousness, and you need a collective to achieve this benefit, and if you don't choose one, it will be forced upon you. Now, what's it going to be? Is it going to be forced on you, or are you going to build your own? And I believe the answer is the Buddhist-inspired middle path. We want what we control, but also beyond what we control or even imagine. Otherwise, what's the point of living? You can't live in a world you plan totally. Not many of you planned for this virus, especially those of you just looking to fit in. Trump supporters know how to wear deplorable as a badge of honor. Most of you get offended at one's freedom of speech that you happen to not like. So we must not fear anything but need you to have faith and see the positive possibilities of the infinite. Judging the already assumed outcome as absolute and not being flexible seals your fate. The quantum of quantum physics implies the multidimensional theory that embraces other possibilities, but allows for the best possibility based on your mindset to embrace the best possibility. Some of you are in the way of the best possibility because you already are living in the dimension of the worst. You block your blessings. I can guide you on an individual level to vibrate with me in the dimension of higher vibrations to grow into a path of progression for the individual and their potential, and this has no choice but to be the highest vibration of the collective. I don't say this as a business, but as a friend, and I demonstrate my value by giving mine to this word friend to imply this kind of relationship, while others lean on this word friend to dump their negativity onto you or call you when they're drunk to communicate their drunken state and to be their source of soul to suck on. No, no, no. I'm the best friend as a partner in collaboration. I don't get paid if you don't. You just want to click and paste your life into a system? You don't want to give a pound of flesh, but regardless, if you don't give it, they'll take it. And they don't just want a pound of flesh, but to suck your soul. To suck your source. Okay? This is about ownership. This is about taking ownership.